Good evening, everybody. Good evening indeed. Welcome to another round of the Race Anywhere World Series, the US Championship. Here with me, Chaz Draycott on Absolute Sim Racing. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day so far and are having a great, great evening wherever you are in the world. And welcome to Daylight Saving Time. We're an hour earlier than normal here for the US race tonight. For some reason, people all around the world think it's a great idea to do their Daylight Saving Time stuff at different times. But either way, we're at the Temple of Speed, this beautiful circuit, Monza, nearly 6 kilometres long. Plenty of flat-out sections, as we all know and love, and some incredible chicanes to go with it as well. We have the Rettifilo chicane, the Della Roggia chicane, we have the Lesmos and Ascari, and also the newly renamed Curva di Alboreto, which is now the new name for the much-loved Parabolica. It's a circuit I've visited twice in my life so far, once commentating, once as just a mere spectator, and it's a great, great place to be. I've even stood up on the podium, the very famous Monza podium that goes down the straight here. And what a place that is to stand, let me tell you that for free. It's a great, great place to go racing as well, though. I was commentating on the EU split of this championship just earlier on with Craig King. The two of us having a fantastic time together. It was our first time working together and it was very, very enjoyable. We were treated to an absolute barnstormer of a race, so we're going to be hoping that we can do more of the same in this one. Now, something very important to note is if you look at the timing screen on the left very carefully, you will notice there is no Dave Menino. Dave not here for this round. So the guys in the pro category have to pull their socks up and crack on with it. Daniel Tenorio, who is currently third fastest overall, second fastest in the pros, is some 40 points behind but has no drop score to his name. So Dave, who has a drop score of 80 at the moment, will then have a drop score of 0. So he will now have even more of a lead in the championship. So it's 120 points. So if Tenorio wants to take it to the final round, he just needs to score 20 points. And with 4 pros available in this race, I don't think he's got much to worry about. Here's Jeremy Littleton. Currently at the moment, Jeremy is 4th in the Pro-Am Championship standings. That's looking like it's going to go between Dean Timms and Andrew Rasmussen. Dean Timms on 630 points, Rasmussen on 600, with Eric Kulaga on 585. He's only another 15 points back. With 100 points for a win, though, currently the mathematical chances go very, very far down, all the way to Errol Uriksoi in 8th position on 485 points. Basically, anyone on more than 430 points could still win the title. When it comes to the AMs, it's this man, Justin Delano, that is currently the championship leader. He has 695 points, with a drop score of 65 as well. And then Stephen Martinez is second place in the AM Championship. He is 25 points down, with 10 points more of a drop score available to him. Michael Fowler is third place in that championship. He's currently just behind him on track as well. Second so far in practice as Jason Bridges puts a time in the lone Mercedes in the race. Actually, that's a lie. We have Kai Dalziel, who is just emerging out of the pit lane as well for Eclipse Racing Esports Solar. He's one of the other Mercedes that we have in the field. So not too long left off practice. Great to see you all with us this evening. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you to those of you who have jumped in to join us. Let's go on board for a lap of Monza, shall we? This is Matthew Plaisance in the Ferrari, the Eclipse Racing Esports car. Flat out for a very long time down towards the chicane. This is the Rettifilo chicane, the first of 2 near the beginning of the lap. Plenty of lock on each side. The driver in the car goes one-handed right, then one-handed left. He was braking at about the 150 metre board on the way down to there. Now this is Curva Grande. Flat out, nice and smooth on the steering. Stay over to the right-hand side slightly. And get yourself prepared for the Della Roggia chicane. Be careful not to clip the grass on the right. It's really tempting. Try and attack the first part of the chicane more than the second. Matthew was a little bit wide of the apex there, but got a nice run on the exit. Now here are the Lesmos. Very difficult indeed. It's like a bowl, this first corner. There's a lot of camber on the way in. Feed the car out gently on the exit, and then prepare yourself for Lesmo 2. You want to really throw the car in. Use the curb on the inside to flatten the car out, and don't get affected too much by the camber. You can't run too wide there, although with the new track limits that have been brought in recently on iRacing, you can push it a little bit. Huge run now into Ascari, one of the most challenging parts of the circuit. Attack the first part, careful of the sausage curbs in the second part. Manage the weight transfer and try and prepare for what the car's going to do for the third section. It was a nice run by Matthew Plaisance. And now we're going down towards Curva Alboreto. Final corner, the Parabolica. Onto the brakes. You can turn in as late or as early as you want around here. There's many a different line that can work. And then across the line we go. Now, I'm not a fan of people using more than the white line on the right-hand side there. We had a very interesting incident in the EU race earlier on, where more than between the white lines, in inverted commas, was used, and a driver was clearly not happy about it and made a very aggressive defensive manoeuvre to try and stop them from doing so. This is Kai Dalziel. In terms of the championship, Kai isn't really one of the drivers that's up there fighting for it, but he got a class win in round 6 of the championship. He's on 255 points in 13th place, but having only done 3 race meetings, he's done a really good job so far. So I'm excited to see what result he can get out of this race. Oh, hopefully no more of that though. Wow, the back end stepping out around the first Lesmo there. That Mercedes didn't look like it wanted to behave itself. I wanted to apologise as well for the connectivity issues that we had last time. I'll say that I had last time. There was a random blip in my internet. I had been mentioning it throughout the broadcast. It didn't seem to affect it earlier on, looking back at it. But then all of a sudden, it just died. It literally just stopped. Everything stopped. iRacing died for me. I was sat here talking to myself for a second, thinking it was just a blip. And I tried to reconnect, I tried to get back on Discord and everything, and it went down until, I think it was a good 3 hours later. It all went completely to pot, unfortunately, so I apologise for that. I'm sure you all know, if you're in the sim racing world, these things happen. This is Jonathan Ouellette. Currently in the championship, Jonathan is in 3rd place. Only 5 points off Daniel Tenorio. Those two have been having a great battle all season. Jonathan won the first round of the season. He also won in round 5 as well, but hasn't quite matched the 4 wins of Dave Meneno. Dave's had 4 wins, a 2nd place, 2 third places and a 5th. He was classified 5th in class at the first round of the championship at Watkins Glen, despite that big disconnect. But I can't believe we're already at the latter end of the season here. Not long to go at all. Here's Eric Kulaga in the Vulture Motorsports Ferrari. Just coming into the Della Roggia chicane. Brake discs, as you can see there, reflecting greatly in the sunshine. And this Vulture Motorsports Ferrari looking very tidy indeed. Flicks it through the second Lesmo. It's going to be good to see some drivers attacking that part of the circuit a little bit more now. Here's John Cooper in what looks like a different livery compared to last time. He's added a bit of metallic flair to the front of the car. That looks very tasty indeed. The Turnburn Moto car has had a bit of a makeover by the look of it. He's not had the easiest of seasons in this car though, as John. He's been suffering a little bit with oversteer on the brakes, and it's coming off the brakes as well, where this car really wants to kill you, but he's been very, very quick. There's just been the odd mistake that has unfortunately cost him a lot of points. He's only scored points in 4 rounds this season. Still 6th in the championship, but behind Tyler Campbell. He is a convincing distance ahead of Ryan Kaprowski. But we've got a good 6-7 drivers in the pro category that we've not seen for quite a while, which is a shame. It seems like the competitive edge has got the better of some of them, and they just can't face coming back if they're not going to win, which is a shame, really. Here's the FTR Esports car of Gary Brown. The Porsche screams its way down the main straight. And Dean making a good point in the chat that the update to the GT3s has kept a few away. It changed how you attack a track, and it's very true, but you know, I think that some of these guys, you may as well be in it to win it. You know, you may as well try and take part. That's how I'd view it anyway. But everybody's different in their approach, and we hope to see some more of the drivers back for the final round. But yes, iRacing have really overhauled the GT3 cars in the latest update. There's been work on how the tyres behave, and there's a massive amount of fuel capacity taken out of the cars as well. They have much smaller fuel tanks now. It didn't really affect the pit stops or the timing of said stops earlier on, as Harry Wills has just had a weird moment. Let's have a look here. Oh, I think Harry there, yeah, not too chuffed with the way the car was behaving. There you see him off up in the distance. Yeah, that's not the happiest Harry Wills I've ever seen, it must be said. Now there is a car I wanted to see coming out of the pit lane. Andrew Rasmussen, the privateer this season in the Pro-Ams. He is second in the standings, 30 points behind Dean Timms. The big shiny Cadbury's purple car is going to be hoping to take some good points out of him this evening at Monza. I have another thing to apologise for as well, actually. If I sound all bunged up and sound like death, then yes, I'm afraid I have coronavirus. I have caught COVID at long last. It's been a year and a half of travelling all over the country and travelling all over Europe, and it's come to bite me in the backside of my own front yard. I believe I may have got it off somebody at my son's school when all the parents stand around in the playground waiting for them, but either way, I've got it now and there's nothing that can be done, no one to blame. But I'm all good, I feel fine. It's just like having a really annoying cold that just won't go away. It's been here for about a week now, and hopefully I can shake it off very soon and get rid of it before the weekend. Here's Drew Neubauer for Team Prema in the BMW. He's about to put his first laps in the session, you know. So no laps on the board yet from Drew, but you never know what he could have been up to. He's maybe been practicing in another server elsewhere, just preparing for the race. A lot of these drivers do get 2 practice sessions in the week before the actual session goes live, so they do get plenty of time to prepare for the event. So Drew may have just been in those sessions previously and not felt the need to join until straight away now. But the BMW was quite an interesting car to watch around here before in the EU race. Didn't seem to have the straight line speed. The Porsche seemed alright, to be fair, so Gary Brown will be quite happy with that. Same with Jeff Carollo and John Casey, fellow Porsche drivers. But the standout car really was the Lamborghini, of which now there are none. Dave Meneno is not racing with us tonight, and neither is his teammate either, actually. I've just realised. Yeah, there is no appearance by James Hebb. James has taken a win and a 3rd place in the championship this season in the AM class. He won on his debut, actually, racing for Rhino Motorsports at Watkins Glen. We've got a lot of support, though, for our drivers in the chat. Jeff's still not sorted his numbers out, unfortunately, in the Vulture Motorsports car. I believe that'll need updating on the timing. He is listed as a privateer here, but no, we will update that for you. It's clearly a Vulture car, so we'll make sure that is included. And there you go. There is the end of the session. And it is time to get our grid for today's race. John Cooper will start on pole position. Alongside him will be Harry Wills on the front row. Then it's going to be Jonathan Ouellette and Daniel Tenorio on row 2. They will round out the pro field, which is only 4 cars deep this time round. Kai Dalziel will lead the Pro-Ams ahead of Logan Vida, with Jeff Carollo and Errol Urixoy in row 2. Michael Kulaga and Gary Brown round out your top 10. Jeremy Littleton is 11th, with Eric Kulaga in 12th position. Then 13th is Andrew Rasmussen, 14th Dean Timms. Jason Bridges is the highest placed of the AM drivers on the grid, with Drew Neubauer alongside him. Matthew Plaisance is 9th, with John Casey Matthew Plaisance is 17th, I read his car number, with John Casey in 18th. Daniel Florea is 19th, with Michael Fowler 20th. 21st is Stephen Martinez, and 22nd is potential AM champion after tonight, Justin Delano. Well, it's looking like there's a number of drivers that could seal their championships this evening, but with drop scores included, it might not be possible. We'll all have to wait and see, I guess. Looks like Logan Vida doesn't have a livery loading on his car. Might have to reload some of these on trading paints. So if you do see them changing, I can only apologise. But here is John Cooper leading our pro field away. The 2 Audis and the 2 Ferraris will start this off. A bit of weaving down the back straight never hurt anybody. But John Cooper's newly fettled livery on the Turnburn Moto Audi is going to be the car to lead us away once again. Harry Wills hoping for a second win this season. He won at round 7 a couple of weeks ago. But since then, he scored a 6th place, I believe it was, at Daytona. You can hear John and Harry both drop it down a gear. Harry's waiting for John to get on with this. We'll have to see how long it is until he goes. And an hour and 15 minutes of racing at Monza is underway in the Race Anywhere World Series. And our 4 pros get cracking on with it down towards turn 1. Kai Dalziel will lead in our Pro-Ams as nearly a bit of contact there between Ouellette and Wills. And Dalziel has had a great start here. Slots in front of Logan Vida, whose livery now does load into turn 1, just in time for him to be on camera. There's Jeff Carollo, gets into the back of Errol Urixoy. There's a bit of a check-up behind as well. Eric Kulaga and Andrew Rasmussen are together. Here come the AMs. Jason Bridges roars away in the Mercedes. Everybody staying side by side, 2 by 2, and then gradually filtering in over to the left. Let's see how tidy everyone keeps it. You can hear John Casey's Porsche making more noise than just about every other car on the grid. It's a nice tidy start. We've got a multitude of cars off at the second Lesmo in the pros, but John Cooper has disappeared out front. He's really flying at the moment. Let's have a look then at our Pro-Ams. Kai Dalziel leads Logan Vida. Errol Urixoy's got an absolute train behind him. That's Jeff Carollo, Michael Kulaga, Gary Brown, Jeremy Littleton, Andrew Rasmussen, Eric Kulaga, and then Dean Timms, championship leader at the back of this pack. Jason Bridges, though, still leads the AMs as, I think that's a slowdown penalty for Drew Neubauer in the BMW. He seemed to slow on the inside, and yeah, he's still letting people through, still trying to serve it. He must have just clipped too much of one of the chicanes. And he's dropping positions very quickly. End of lap 1 already for our pros. And Harry Wills and Jonathan Ouellette are side by side down the straight. Hard onto the brakes they go, and Ouellette makes it through up into second place. He wants to make sure that he beats Tenorio by at least 1 position tonight. If he finishes right in front of him, they'll basically be on the same points going into the finale for second in the championship. Now, the Pro-Ams were the most entertaining in the EU race earlier. And I feel that may be the case here, as there's a bit of bumping and barging going on there. A bit of a check-up through the chicane. Some of the guys clearly just weren't ready for it. This is Gary Brown side by side with Michael Kilaga. Michael down the inside into the De La Roggia. Backs out of it though. Gary says thank you. Plenty of curb. It's close behind as well. Rasmussen trying to get the best of Littleton. Goes down the inside. Jeremy hangs the Ferrari around the outside and manages to stay there through Lesmo 2. Is it the same? No. Rasmussen goes through, although the car gets slightly out of shape. Littleton has to tap the brakes. And they're all moving around as all. That's surely a slowdown penalty for Michael Kilaga. Oh, that's gutting. Absolutely gutting. He's dropped a number of positions. Jonathan Ouellette has gone to the race lead. He's trying to take it all the way around the outside of Curva Alboreto. John Cooper moves all the way over to the left as far as he can. It's not enough though, and Jonathan Ouellette has the lead. Oh my God. That was very, very close indeed. As down the inside goes Harry Wills. And side by side they go. Yes, there will be gaps, guys. Sorry, I always usually wait till we've done at least 1 or 2 laps before I bring them up, but thank you for the reminder. Now that was very scary. No, not that. This. This is mighty scary, this, from John Cooper, and this is why you need to be so careful when you're moving over on a straight. Anyone that's heard me commentate before will know that I hate it when drivers move over when they're on a straight. I don't see any advantage gained from it. Yes, maybe a bit of side draft, but look at this by John Cooper. Although actually, you know what? Apologies. I think that there wasn't contact there. I think there wasn't contact at all. I think maybe Jonathan Ouellette moved over to the right just to defend it, but we'll have to wait and see. Kai Dalziel is flying at the moment. Oh, Andrew Rasmussen's off. Rasmussen is off. That's big for the championship. That is big for the championship in Pro-Am. Andrew Rasmussen was second in the points coming into this. And he's off at Lesmo 2. Let's see what happened here. He's done it on his own. Oh, he's clipped the gravel. We saw multiple drivers do that earlier in the EU race. Oh, no way. That is absolutely gutting for Andrew Rasmussen. Plaisance was just behind there as well in the lead of the AM class. He overtook Jason Bridges on the previous lap and now wants to try and break away at the front. But in the Pro-Ams, Errol Uriksoy is under pressure for second place from Logan Vida, Team Premat on Twisted. But Errol holds true in that BMW. We've seen some really impressive performances from him this season. Oh, we've got issues here. Jason Bridges going slowly. Not sure what happened there, but we'll have a look what happened with Stephen Martinez overtaking him. Oh, he's had a spin. He's had a complete spin on his own, has Jason Bridges. We've seen him spin that Mercedes a few times this season. It's not been his best friend, it has to be said. And now he's dropped a number of positions, so Plaisance now has a 3.6 second lead over Stephen Martinez. He'll be happy with that. Looking further up, Harry Wills Still in second place, but he's got his teammate Daniel Tenorio behind him. He needs to try and drag Daniel towards Jonathan Ouellette. V10 and turbocharged V8 scream their way down the back straight. We've got a few cars going off a bit further down the order, but I think it's just temporary as they go through the Lesmos. Jonathan Ouellette, though, doing a great job so far. Leading his class, leading the race. Started third on the grid as well, based on the reverse championship points situation. John Cooper's fallen away a little bit here after the earlier swapping of positions, but he carries on. Jeff Carollo has gone into the pits as Errol Uriksoi loses out to Logan Vida for P6 overall in the race, and that is second in class. Jeff Carollo in the pits though, in the Porsche. Not quite sure what that's for. Oh, Jason Bridges is off again. Jason off again here. And, oh, this is already when it's happened, I'm afraid. Oh, the back end just gets away from him there. Around Curva Alboreto. He reverses and gets the car back underway, but I'm afraid that'll be a big, big dent in the confidence to have had two spins in just a couple of laps in the same corner. This is Harry Wills. Still in second position. Looks like he's closed slightly on Jonathan Ouellette on this previous lap. We'll go on board and see what the gap's like when we get back onto the straight. Listen to that 5.2 litre V10. What a wonderful noise. Revving to nearly 8,500 RPM. A V8 sounds good. Sorry, a V10 sounds good at the best of times, but even still. Love the behaviour of the Audi through the first couple of corners. Always looks very tasty indeed, doesn't it? Just watching though the gaps at the moment. Oh, whoa, that's it. That's Harry Wills done. He's done it again. He's lost the back end of the car. Hits the wall very hard indeed. Jason Bridges and John Cooper have both come to strife. Oh, and I'm afraid that looks like another rage quit from John Cooper, unfortunately. He's not had the season to remember. Jason Bridges again into Curva Alboreto, loses the back of the car. And that's 3 times in as many laps, I believe, for him. This is Dean Timms, current championship leader in the Pro-Ams. Now, he has got a lot of damage on the back of that car, it has to be said. But I'm sure that he will survive through it at least. And oh, Harry's off again. Harry's had another off here after this. Justin Delano's been off the track temporarily. Let's see what happened to Harry Wills. Oh, he's lost. Oh, the damage has taken the back end completely away from that car. The back end is completely gone. Jason Bridges has had another spin while all this was going on. It's gone around at the Lesmo 1, and that is the end of his race too. So it's been an attritional opening few minutes, that's for sure. 11 minutes of the way through the race. Jonathan Ouellette leads the way in what has become now a two-car field in the pros, unfortunately. Kai Dalziel leading in the Pro-Ams by 4.7 seconds. He's on a real mission. Clips the gravel a little tiny bit there. That's easy to do. Logan Vider is second, but he's got Errol Uriksoy still for company behind him. And he's actually let Errol go there, which I was trying to find words for that. Maybe it was a slowdown from earlier, but even still. That was an odd one. That was an odd one, that I must say. Well, I think one thing that's safe to say now is that the race has been blown wide open in the AMS, because Matthew Plaisance is only now 0.3 of a second ahead of Stephen Martinez. Then Daniel Fleuret is in this as well, and Justin Delano. They're all within a second of each other. And Matthew's run a little bit wide there through Curva Alboreto, and Steve Martinez down the inside. Through he goes. And then they all slot back in. It's the Ferrari parade at the top of the AMS at the moment. Looking on board with Justin Delano. You'll see just ahead that it is just a bunch of Ferraris all together. Great to see them all moving around, as that's Matthew Plaisance dropping. Well, a Plaisance. I think he may have got a slowdown penalty going through there, but that's not helped him one bit. John Casey has unfortunately had a problem in his Porsche. Is the weight transfer just going to catch him out? Oh, the back end's gone. Oh, that's a big hit. Drills him straight into the wall. Gets going again. But that, normally you see the car completely go around and it will slowly rotate through here and then hit the wall a lot further down than that, but he really hit that wall straight on. Plaisance now in fourth in class behind Justin Delano. Further up, Tenorio has been closing up on the back of Jonathan Ouellette. And he's not going to stop there, I'm pretty sure. Looks very, very determined to keep chasing. Great to see these Ferraris though at full chat, isn't it? Around Monza. It's a beautiful place to go racing. The scenery looks nice as well on the way down to Ascari, doesn't it? Looks like a hell of a place to be. So Justin, currently in the AM Championship, is leading the way. by some 25 points from the man ahead of him. So Stephen Martinez is under pressure to get a result out of this. Justin and Kai both getting some fantastic support in the chat. Good to have you all with us. Thank you very much for your comments as well. Looks like somebody's had an off out of turn 1. I think that was John Casey that's done that. Or Jeff Carollo. I'm going to place bets. Jeff Carollo, unfortunately. Oh, just clips the gravel right in front of our leaders as well. Spins the car. This is Littleton and Timms. Dean trying very hard to get past fellow Ferrari driver, Jeremy. Jeremy actually has opened up quite a bit of a gap there. Looks like he's done a pretty good job of that as well. That's been very, very sudden. But good pace from Littleton. Now this fight's still going on though. We need to keep our eye on this, I feel. Because this could get mighty, mighty spicy. This is Michael Fowler behind Matthew Plaisance. You can see just how difficult it is to follow one another through certain sections of this circuit, but look at the run you get if you stick with it and stay persistent. Hard onto the brakes, and Fowler tries to go all the way around the outside. And I think he's going to do it, or does he? No. Plaisance tucks the car in on the inside, and the two of them stick together down the main straight. A lot of them going over the white line on the right hand side. And still just missing out on getting the place is Michael Fowler. Kai Dalziel though, what a great drive he's having at the moment. 6 seconds clear of just about everybody else, at least everybody in his class. And that big old beefy Mercedes is doing a great job so far. Starts to look a little bit outdated at this point, doesn't it, the Mercedes? Hopefully we can get an updated version of the car. You can tell where Lesmos are because all these guys are going off the road there. Daniel Florea in the middle of all this. Delano in front of him. And then Plaisance behind, and then Fowler behind him. I told you we need to stick with this. Still side by side. Just filters out into Ascari. Florea just holding on. Sounded like there was a bit of a moment there for Plaisance because Fowler has got a great run on him. Down the inside stays Plaisance. Gets it done. This is all helping Justin Delano now. He's starting to break away slightly. He's got no slipstream to help him round the lap though. That's the problem. Stephen Martinez is some 5 seconds up the road. Look at him go. Doing a great, great job at the minute. The Vulture Motorsports Ferrari certainly circling above everybody else. Here's Jonathan Ouellette, and he's definitely not on his own because right behind him is Daniel Tenorio. Now it's going to be interesting to see what strategy these guys go for. In the earlier race we saw that a number of drivers were sticking behind their rivals and just saving fuel until the latter stages of the race, having as short a pit stop as possible. We've seen Dave Menino do it a couple of times this season, let's not forget. And oh, look at that for a move. I didn't think Tenorio was going to go for it and go all the way alongside. He's down the inside. They leave plenty of room for each other. Lovely racing side by side still on the exit of the Rettifilio chicane. Lovely stuff. Still side by side though into the Della Roggia. Ouellette just can't do it, unfortunately. And that Mercedes just behind is Jason Bridges. I thought for a second there I could hear Kai Dalziel right with these guys. But great racing for the overall race lead. Let's see a bit further down. Got Logan Vider in the black Audi just in front of us, on board with Errol Uriksoy. Into Lesmo 2. BMW feels very planted, very stable, doesn't it? Feels like a safe bet to be on board with. As we go down towards Ascari once more. You can see how drivers can sometimes be a bit hesitant of that weight transfer, going from the right to the left again. The car can really oversteer when you go through to the right. It's when you're on the power and it's when you're really pushing. Daniel Tenorio and Jonathan Ouellette are still fighting, by the way, into the first chicane, and Tenorio remains ahead. If Ouellette finishes one position in front of him, which he either finishes one position ahead or one position behind, because there's only two of them in the race now. Jonathan needs to win this race to tie on points going into the final round compared to Daniel Tenorio. These two Ferraris, though, have always been up there this season. Roaring their way down to Ascari once again. It's a great front row view here for Jason Bridges. He gets to enjoy this battle exactly as is from not too far back. Look at that, tucked right up in the slipstream now is Ouellette. And right around the outside, Jonathan Ouellette still can't quite do it. We'll go back on board with him. Oh, and he's in the pits. He's coming to the pits after 25 minutes. That doesn't seem like long at all. Tenorio, oh, excuse me, screams past our camera down the straight. So, pit stops beginning already as, oh no, Jonathan Ouellette then showed us coming out of the pits and then stopping again instantly. I think he might have overshot his box somehow. Logan Vider is also into the pits. So 25 minutes done and pit stops already beginning. A number of drivers all coming in now. Jeremy Littleton, Dean Timms is in as well. Michael Kulaga has carried on. What about our AM leader, Stephen Martinez? And he's over to the right. Yep, he's coming into the pits as well. What about Justin Delano? A few seconds back, that says to me he's staying out. And Daniel Florea and Michael Fowler. And what about Matthew Plaisance? Yep, he's staying out as well. Gary Brown also staying out. There's a number of the Pro-Ams actually that have already pitted that are in amongst the AMs. We'll show you the pit stops on the... Tell you what, we'll switch that round, shall we? There you go. There you can see the gaps between what the drivers have done. So Tenorio leads this race, but obviously no stops for him. Kai Dalziel leads the Pro-Ams, and you can see there Logan Vida is the highest placed of those that has stopped. And then Delano, Florea, Fowler and Plaisance, they haven't stopped yet either. And we don't want the same thing twice, do we? Sorry about that. Tenorio in. Believe me, he's there. He's there somewhere. Kai Dalziel also comes into the pits. This camera is awful for the pit lane. Errol Uriksoy also in. Eric Kilaga is the next car to get there, and he's got a lot of damage on that front end. That front right corner certainly does have a lot of bodywork damage on it. He's also in. So where is Jonathan Ouellette in all of this? Here he is, down the straight. Tenorio is already leaving his box. A slightly longer pit stop than Jonathan Ouellette. And they're going to be right as they were. Oh, and Jonathan's tried to push it in and go around the outside into turn one. Oh, he tried it. Fair play to him. He certainly tried it, but it wasn't enough. And now you can see a number of cars all getting their stops. Once Plaisance gets his, and that will be it, and the entire field will have cycled through, and there you go. So now they all filter back out. Everybody has pitted at least once. These two have both pitted, and Kai Dalziel has pitted. 5.6 seconds his class lead over Errol Uriksoy. He's still got Logan Vida with him after all of that, but importantly, he's behind him. Logan third in class at the moment. He's gained one place from where he started though, so he's not had a bad day at the office, it has to be said. The car looked very wide through the first of the Lesmos there. Now down the back straight once more towards Ascari. A little bit of movement there from Errol, just went one way then the other. A little bit of weaving on the straight maybe, or just messing with some settings, and the car didn't quite just stay straight as he wanted it to. It's quite the spread out field at the moment. There you see the separate classes. You can see the Pro-Ams and the Ams all sort of mixed together. We'll give you the overall position as well, by the way. So you can see roughly who's where in the race, and that some of the Ams and the Pro-Ams are all mixed up. But down the straight, Logan Vida gets in front of Errol Uriksoy, and Errol now will want to try and get some revenge. But every single time that they manage to get to a chicane or just finish a long straight, there is a change of position. Onto the brakes into the Della Roggia. That Audi looks and sounds great even from there, doesn't it? Just in front of these guys, that is John Casey in the Porsche. He's currently in 8th place in the AM class, 20th overall. He's going to be hoping that things improve. Over the course of his race, at least. Oh, we've had a problem. Kai Dalziel's gone off the road. Andrew Rasmussen went off as well. Oh, this is unrelated. It just said they were both near the end of the lap. Andrew Rasmussen off there. Kai Dalziel has gone off on his own here. What's happened? Oh, he's just lost it on the way in. Just didn't quite get the car stopped as much as he wanted. I could hear some sort of contact somewhere though. Sounded like somebody hit another car or hit a wall or something, but oh no. Matthew Plaisance has nearly hit another wall, but manages to recover. He went off at the second Lesmo. Easy to do, though. So this lead battle still continues then. We're over half an hour through this race now. Not quite at the halfway point, though. That comes at 37.5 minutes. So we're still a few minutes away from that point. Stephen Martinez doing a great job at the moment, though, in the AM class. He leads the way. He's got a good 5-second lead at least over Justin Delano. But Justin will only lose 5 points to him in the championship if it finishes as it is. And I'm sure if you ask Justin, he'll tell you that he can live with that. That is not of a massive concern to him. Jeff Carollo has come into the pits. The Pro-Am driver was down in 10th in class and 17th overall. He was behind a number of the AMs. Just wondering whether Stephen's going to try anything here to get past Andrew Rasmussen. It seems like Andrew's car isn't quite up to the pace he wants it to be. He's even flashing the lights now, is Stephen. Proving the point that he wants to go past, and Andrew is letting him go. Fair play to Rasmussen. He says, after you, mate. You can go ahead if you want to. If you're quicker, you get on with your race, I'll get on with mine. Once again down towards Curva Alboreto they go. Oh, our lead has come into shot completely all over the place. Big wobble there by Jonathan Ouellette. He loved a bit of that. We ride on board now with the second placed Ferrari, third in the championship. Down the hill, incredibly quick down there. Back up onto the brakes into Ascari, nice and easy, smoothly into the first part. Manage the weight transfer to the right, then flick it left and just pray. Because there's so many times it can go wrong through that left-hander. Trust me. It can go very, very wrong indeed. As he starts to close slightly on the brakes. And now look at the slipstream working here. As Jonathan closes on the back of that twisted Ferrari. Moves over to the left. Tenorio pretty much goes off the circuit to the right-hand side. Jonathan gets his nose in front. He's later on the brakes. Forces Tenorio to keep the tight line on the inside, but he's not giving him all the room on the exit. Oh, that was a bit naughty. I don't think it was that untoward, but Jonathan certainly didn't leave all the room in the world. Let's have a look at it again from the chopper cam. Hard onto the brakes. Look, he tries to get on the power ASAP, and there's the tiniest of touches. Like I say, nothing untoward as, oh no, John Casey has had a spin. That is down at Curva Alboreto. Did he get some help here? No. Oh, the back end just so gradually went around, he clips the wall. And he's just got going again now. Logan Vida and Errol Urixoy still together as we're about to get up to the halfway point of this race. That Audi looks and sounds great, doesn't it? Michael Fowler and Daniel Florea are still together in the AM class a bit further down the order. This is just coming out of the chicane. The very first chicane on the lap, the Rettifilio. into the Della Roggia, onto the brakes. Attack the first curb. Attack the second curb a little bit less. Try and focus on a good run towards the first Lesmo. If you can put a driver under pressure into the Lesmos, it is a very, very hard place for them to keep their mind in a very stable state to concentrate on the corners ahead. Speaking of concentrating ahead, that is John Casey just in front of them that will be getting lapped now. He is fellow AM-class traffic. Now, is John going to get out of the way of Plaisance? Yes. Or is he? Oh, there was hesitation there. And Fowler, look. Fowler's gone. Thank you very much, he says. He's away. Now, two battles going on. Logan Vider and Errol Yerksoy just in front of this, but Gary Brown and Jeremy Littleton are all over each other. I've been butchering Jeremy's name all season. I'm really sorry, Jeremy. But I will try to not butcher it anymore. Chasing down Gary Brown. He's gained 4 places to go 4th in his class. In the beautiful FTR Esports Porsche. Into Lesmo 1. You can see through here whether a car is stable or unstable. Back end kicks out a little bit for Jeremy. Not too much though. Nice and smooth on the exit of Lesmo 2 down towards Ascari. This is their 21st lap of the race. And we are over 38 minutes of the way through into the second half. Now that was a tidy move down the inside by Littleton, but he gives a lot of room to Gary on the exit. Gary's now got a decent... Well, actually, I was going to say he's got a decent run, but it's clearly not as good as we thought. Jeremy moves over to the left. Hard onto the brakes he goes. Gets a nice run out of Curva Alboreto. And across the line. Let's have a look at what's happening on that little battlefront up ahead. Not too much this time round. Errol Yerksoy just ahead of Logan Vider this time. You can hear the whistles and squeaks of the turbocharger on the BMW. It's an inline 6 turbocharged engine, not the V8 that we used to see in BMW's GT3 cars like the Z4 and the M6. Ooh, big sideways moment on the exit of the Della Roggia chicane. You can see Littleton and Gary Brown hopping and skipping and jumping all over the curbs in the background as well. Whoa! They've both gone very wide and Logan's lost it! Logan has properly lost it. And straight back to the pits. Gary Brown and Jeremy Littleton jumped around it, but wow. Logan, by the look of it, he followed Errol out wide, clipped the gravel. It looked okay, but he kept his foot in it. That was the mistake he made, was keeping his foot in it. And then Gary Brown managed to make it through. Maybe lost a bit of time in the Lesmos, but still, that is a real shame for Logan Vider. But that's racing. Unfortunately, that happens. And Logan was having a really good run. Absolutely gutted for him. Here's Kai Dalziel, still leading the way in the Pro-Ams by over 5 seconds to Errol Yerksoy. Now that Errol has not got as much pressure on his back, now that Logan Vider has departed that fight, what exactly can he do about catching Kai? Can he make inroads? Very interesting to see. Now there's a big gap for the lead. All of a sudden, 6 seconds being the difference here. Now that seems odd, but looks to me like Jonathan Houellette has just been piling in the pace. I don't see anything saying that Daniel Tenorio has had an issue or been off the track or anything. But after that little bit of contact, maybe it's affected the way Daniel's car is performing. Doesn't look like there's any damage to it. I mean, it was the tiniest of taps in the front left. Maybe it's slightly deformed. I mean, it looks slightly deformed on the front right more than anything. But the front left is what took the hit. Very intriguing. Also very confusing because Tenorio has been right on the pace all season, and for him to suddenly not be able to match Houellette seems odd, but the gap is 6.5 seconds. Biggest gap in any pack now, and it has to be the one with 2 cars in it, doesn't it? Oh well. It's Gary Brown. Still trying to stick with Jeremy Littleton now. I think that's the right phrase. The two of them were fighting. Gary's not quite stuck with him at the moment. We'll go on board with the Porsche, shall we? See how it looks from where he is. Makes a hell of a noise, doesn't it? Up through the gears. Up into 5th through Curva Grande. We're going to hit 6th very soon. Or are we? No, he's not going to change up to 6th. He's going to ring it out in 5th, all the way down to 2nd, attack the first curb, attack the second curb, wait for the car to balance itself out on the exit, and off you go. Seems very busy and very exciting on board with that Porsche, doesn't it? Now, oh, hello, Michael Kulaga has let Steven Martinez go there. That's his teammate at Vulture Motorsports. And I've been told, look around 37.30 for what happened to Tenorio. So this is just after that marker in terms of the race time, and this was the incident that we saw earlier. I think that's just about it, unless Tenorio's had a problem after this, because the gap is definitely not 6 seconds there, is it? We'll stick with this, do a bit of detective work for a minute and see what happened to Daniel. Maybe he got a slowdown penalty or something of that effect, or had a spin. But Daniel would have been pushing hard after losing that lead. Definitely. It's easy to drive with the red mist in your eyes, that's for sure, especially after losing a position due to contact. You'll feel really hard done by. Those two Ferraris look like they're being pushed really, really well though, don't they? Back up towards Ascari they go. I'm not sure he's had a spin or anything, has he? As I was saying, you know, he's on the pace with Jonathan Houellette. Maybe we can fast forward things. Yeah, we can fast forward it, although not by much. Oh, there you go. There is the slide. And thank you very much to Devastate Racing in the chat for at least inspiring me to go back and look. The battles aren't too fierce on track right now, but this is Michael Kulaga and what's left of Andrew Rasmussen's R8. That rear wing looking very second hand. Down the dip, up the hill they go. Now Rasmussen needs to gain positions because he is trying to fight for the championship in Pro-Am. With Dean Timms, the gap is 30 points. Dean is currently 7th, all on his own. Andrew is going to lose even more points to Dean if the race finishes as it is. But we've got less than half an hour to go now here at Monza. And to be honest, we may get pit stops in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes. Just around the 50-minute mark. Andrew backing out early there, as you hear, to make sure that he doesn't go into the back of Kulaga. He might want to sit here as well for a lap or two, save a bit of fuel, which could help him have a shorter final pit stop and maybe leapfrog some of the cars that he's been around in the field. He's not dumping the clutch or anything yet. He's not quite going to that extreme of fuel saving, but he's certainly not going for a move on Michael Kulaga. Now that behind is Justin Delano, and that is actually for position. It's for position overall in the race, at least. Not for position in class. Justin may want to fight this. He may not. But whether he wants to or not is completely up to him. He is perfectly entitled to have a go if he wants to. Because at the end of the day, it is for overall on-track position, and he does look down the inside. Our fan club seems to have turned up in chat. Hello. And through he goes, but now all of a sudden Rasmussen is in the position to slipstream him down the straight. This is the problem with overtaking so much at Monza, I guess. It can go one way then the other very, very quickly. But Delano stays ahead. Rasmussen backs out of it, thinks, you know what, maybe it's not worth the fight right now. But this is the closest battle on track. And we'll stick with it for a little bit. And just see how it develops. Because Rasmussen, he's probably going to be hoping that Delano maybe tries to have a go at Michael Kulaga as well. Maybe just tries to sort of unsettle Michael's rhythm. Put a bit of pressure on him. Sometimes that's all it can take to really unsettle a driver and put them off. And there you go. There is the move done already. Justin Delano is on an absolute mission in this race, is he not? Doing a great, great job. He's ahead of 4 AM drivers, if you're being technical. 2 that are still on the road. Actually, 3 that are still on the road. As Rasmussen looks down the inside of Kulaga. It looked like he went in way too hot then. That looked way, way too hot, but no. He managed to get it stopped, although right now Michael Kulaga trying to come back at him. That's gone in too hot, surely. Oh, how did he get that stopped? Kulaga's going to try and go on the left, though. Nice awareness. Still, the battle rages on. Kulaga goes to the left. Not doing, but they're both pushing so hard. They're both pushing so hard on the brakes to try and get the cars stopped. And they're just not behaving as they'd want them to. Right then, Jonathan Ouellette back in the pits. Trust me, he's there. Ouellet back in the pits, and importantly, still earlier than Daniel Tenorio. Jeremy Littleton is also in the pits, so here come the stops. I said between the sort of 50 to 55 minute mark, didn't I? Well, I may not have said that exactly, but I said it was about 10 minutes, and that would have put us to about now. You can believe me if you want. Dean Timms also coming into the pits. So there's an influx of drivers now making their way in. And Michael Kilaga has stayed out, but Rasmussen has gone in. Martinez has gone in as well. So we'll show you the stops on the left so you can see just about how this all is going to pan out. Here's the two Mercedes on track together. One of them has... very interestingly, one of them has the block on the windscreen which gives you the positional numbers and the other doesn't. That is interesting. Kai Dalziel still leads in the Pro-Am class by quite a lot, although for some reason the Pro-Ams are now positioned behind the Ams. Not sure how long that's been going on. But Kai definitely leads them. Justin Delano is currently the leader in the Ams. We'll try and give the overlay a reload, shall we? No, it still doesn't like me. But still, as you see there, Jonathan Ouellet has gone past Daniel Tenorio. So Tenorio hasn't really gained anything in the pit stops. The times were almost identical. Kai Dalziel still going. Matthew Plaisance is off the road. He's gone rallying again at Lesmo 2. But at the moment, it's Kai Dalziel leading the way. And he's doing a really good job of it, has to be said. Still not sure why the Pro-Ams are below the Ams now. That's very frustrating. So I apologise for that. But it seems nothing I do can change that. Suppose we could try and change it back up, but no. That's very, very strange, isn't it? There you go, look. See, even if I change all this about, it does not change a thing. It is still classing the Ams above the Pro-Ams, so you're going to have to just deal with it now. Into the pits comes Kai Dalziel. Jonathan Ouellet will carry on. 55 minutes of the race done. And now the gaps will all start to even themselves out a bit. Stephen Martinez is right behind Matthew Plaisance. These two have been stuck together at various stages of the race. And they continue to have this battle. But Justin, importantly, is ahead of both of these guys. Martinez was leading the class earlier on. And now Justin, well, depending on where Michael Fowler comes out, he is there behind that wall in the pit lane. And Plaisance comes into the pits, but there is the difference. Delano from Martinez. He stayed out longer, he had a shorter pit stop. And that's what's made the difference. Out of the pits comes Michael Kulaga and Michael Fowler, both of the Michaels. Daniel Florea just arriving on the scene, and Rasmussen arriving on the scene also. Once again, that Audi looked like it was way too hot into there. Somehow it's just not been that Audi season, unfortunately. But still, I mean, he's up there in the championship, so he's doing better than I'd be doing. Sorry, I'm just trying to check something on here. Just trying to see if there's anything I can do with this issue with the AMs and the Pro-Ams. Because it's... While, you know, while I do sit here and say, oh, you'll just have to deal with it, I don't even want to deal with it because I know how frustrating it is that it's not correct. I mean, look, we can show you their overall places, but still you can see Kai Dalziel is in 3rd place. If we go back to a replay, I wonder if this will change things. This is Drew Neubauer just going a little bit deep at Curva di Alboreto. And still no. Anyway, Jonathan Ouellette leads the race overall. Daniel Tenorio is 6.2 seconds back. And Kai Dalziel is in 3rd overall. Errol Uriksoy 4th. Jeremy Littleton in 5th. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, sometimes it is interesting to have the... Oh, excuse me. Sometimes it is interesting to have the classes overall or show the positions overall. Especially when you see them like that, and then we see them like this. Because you all know what classes they're in. I mean, we can still show you the class display at the top like that. There you go. Now it's actually done it in order there. Is it going to do it if I do this? Ready? Let's try it. We're just playing with the overlay live on air now. No, of course it's not going to do it. Oh, flipping it. But there you go. So you can see how each car is doing. Like that. So Kai Dalziel 3rd overall. It does help you realise who is fighting who for position, I guess. So I'm just trying to type some bits in here to try and help this issue, but no. But right now, this is a good fight. Michael Fowler, Daniel Florea, Michael Kulaga, and Andrew Rasmussen. 3 Ferraris in an Audi. Whoa, Daniel Florea drives off the road to try and find a gap that just, well, isn't there, unfortunately. Just tries to find a bit of room that does need exist. Well, I'm glad you guys like the overlay like that. It's why we colour code the cars, I guess, or colour code the classes. Now, if you'll just forgive me 1 second for bringing up the... Actually, no, you know what? Even if I bring this up, look. Yeah, see, they're all GT3 cars, so They're not split up into different classes by iRacing, it's just something in the league that we're doing. As whoa, down the inside goes Florea on Fowler. And look at this. Still side by side down the straight. Michael Fowler trying to get the better of Daniel. And whoa, Rasmussen's got in hot again. But somehow gets it stopped. Massive sends down the inside by that Audi. It's great to watch. Very entertaining to watch. That Audi has just been very exciting, it must be said, all season. Here's Jeremy Littleton. He is on his own a little bit at the moment. He's got a second and a half back to Gary Brown, as you see there. But at the moment, he is no serious threat. Jeremy just needs to keep his head, try and get that podium spot. Down the straight once more. I'm trying to find the point where the overlay changed, you know, and it went to AMS. There was a replay. There was a certain replay. And it was a long replay. It was between two Ferraris. And it was the two leading cars as well. So I feel that something may have happened when those cars crossed the line. You can see it's still doing it with the AMS ahead of the Pro-Ams. So we'll keep it like this till the end of the race now. There's not too long to go anyway. 10.5 minutes. Now I wonder, the replay we went back to earlier was a move for our race lead, wasn't it? We'll see if we go back to this, and then we can go back live. See if that will work now, because it seems like it's something to do with that replay. No, it's still not right. I give up. That's it now. I'm done. That is it. We will just go to the end. Andrew Rasmussen has gone off the road and jumped back to the pits. Oh no. Oh, he's lost it on the right. Oh, that's a big hit. Oh, that was a big, big hit. Thank you very much, Phantom02. You have been a fountain of information this season, it must be said. You have spotted my mistakes with not putting certain bits of information up or when certain things have happened. I appreciate having you in the chat. Still, Jonathan Ouellette has not got too long to go now. 1 hour and 6 minutes have just been completed now. And it is not long at all until he could most probably say that he's going to win this race. Daniel Tenorio, some 7 seconds back now. And then they have a huge gap of 35 seconds back to Kai Dalziel. Still leading the Pro-Am class, though. This Mercedes has been untouchable. Kai has been brilliant in this race. Errol Uriksoy is just there, though. He's not completely disappeared. And then Jeremy Littleton isn't exactly over the horizon either. And Eric Eric Kulaga, Daniel Florea and Michael Fowler still stuck together. As down the inside goes Florea, lovely move. What that's done is actually slow Eric Kulaga down there, and Michael Fowler can now try and have a go. This is the two AM drivers either side of the Pro-Am driver. As down the inside goes Fowler, fourth in class. He wants to go chasing after Florea for that podium position in his class. Side by side down the straight once more. Looks to me like Kulaga's going to just miss out there, actually. Fowler is just in front as they get on the brakes for the Rettifilio chicane. Seems to have put the battle to bed, to be honest with you. But here is your AM class leader, Justin Delano. What a great job he's doing. And he continues to push on and on. So I'm just trying to figure out how many laps we'll have left now for our race leader, Jonathan Ouellette. 1:47.57 is the last lap he did. His best lap of the race is a 1:47.2 as well, so he's absolutely flying at the moment. He's still on almost his best pace. 8 seconds clear of Tenorio. So 6 minutes to go now, which would be 3 lots of 2 minutes. So we've still probably got another 2 to 3 laps left. But he's got to complete the rest of this one, yeah. Let's call it 1 minute 50 per lap. So you'd be looking at what? 3 minutes 40 to do 2 laps. And then he'd be after another one, so probably going to get 3 laps to go now. Even more than that, actually. Probably 4 laps. God, my maths is awful. I'm sorry, everyone. Jonathan, to be fair to him, though, he deserves this win. He's been pushing so hard all season. He won the first race after a disconnection for Dave Menino. It was at Silverstone, actually, I will add, not Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen was the second round of the championship. He also won at round 5, did Jonathan. Put in a great performance in round 5 of the season. Dave Menino finished 3rd there. Harry Wills was 2nd. New Era Gaming there saying that Bring It Home Eclipse is the order of the day. And very rightly so, actually. Justin Delano leads the AM class. Kai Dalziel leads the Pro-Am class. So Eclipse are doing very, very well. There's a moment of weakness from Kai Dalziel. Oh, now that has actually bumped up the front end of that Mercedes a lot, look. That has bent up the bonnet quite aggressively. Just love watching that Mercedes rumble its way through Ascari. Fantastic movement by that car. And Kai Dalziel certainly knows how to drive it. Here's a battle going on with just a few minutes to go. Drew Neubauer chasing down Matthew Plaisance. Only 0.2 of a second between the two. Drew throws it up the inside into the chicane. He's gone in too deep. Oh, Drew. We've seen a few moments this season from Drew where he's not exactly been a favourite of his fellow drivers as Plaisance. That literally was just, yeah, stuff it. Stuff it. Let's have another look at it. Oh, he's just a little bit too hot onto the brakes, wasn't he, Drew? Just pushed that little bit too hard. And it didn't quite work, I'm afraid. Jonathan making his way round Ascari. There's going to be one more lap to go after this one, I dare say. This number 2 Ferrari, like I've said before, has been absolutely spot on throughout pretty much all of the races this season, you know. But Jonathan Houlier, while Dave Menino is not here, has done exactly what he needed to do. It's going to be just about this lap, and that's it. He does have a couple of seconds in the bag. He's got 7.6 seconds over Daniel Tenorio to get it slowed down if he wants to make this the last lap. It all depends on fuel, of course. Because if you've got to do 2 more laps, or this one or 1 more, then you need to be careful with the fuel. You need to really think about it. Just watching Justin Delano's times now. 1:48.07 is his best. As oh, hello there. Big blips in and out there for a second. Sorry about that. And we continue to lose frames for a moment. Apologies. Not sure exactly what happened with that there. Now what that's done is actually kick out a lot of the history for the live timing. But at the final corner it ticks to 1:15. Jonathan Houlier takes the win at Monza. Fantastic victory by Jonathan. He'll be very, very pleased with that one. Wiggles the wheels, pulls over pretty much straight away. Daniel Tenorio is going to finish in 2nd place. Let's see if this will fix it now. And Tenorio, wow. Wow, Daniel flings the car at the scenery. Absolutely flings it at the scenery. Kai Dalziel is going to be the next class leader to cross the line. And he'll be a very, very happy boy as well, with the fact that the car has stood up to the test. It's had a few little knocks and dings here and there off the curbs, but what a brilliant, brilliant result that is by Kai Dalziel. Very well done. Errol Yerksoy will be happy, and is happy with 2nd place by the look of it. Very well done indeed to the BMW driver, and 3 manufacturers on the podium in Pro-Am, with Jeremy Littleton bringing it home in 3rd in the Ferrari. And Eclipse Racing have had one hell of a night. It's a win in Pro-Am for Kai Dalziel, and it is a win in the Am class for Justin Delano. What a brilliant drive by Justin through the field, jumped his rivals in the pits. Steve Martinez, 2nd place. He'll be pleased with that at least. Good points. And 3rd place goes the way of Daniel Florea, an all-Ferrari podium when it comes to the Pro-Ams. Or the Ams, I should say. Apologies. So, the race comes to an end. And the drivers will all make their way round. Just going to quickly get things rewound a little bit here to go a bit further back through the race so we can get our interviews ready and underway. And then we will be able to have a chat to some drivers and see what they made of that one, because that certainly was an exciting race. So, let's check out some race results, shall we? We'll go through them one class at a time. And in the Pro class, with only the 4 cars finishing, or at least the 4 cars starting, Jonathan Ouellette takes the win, 12 seconds clear of Daniel Tenorio in the end, with Harry Wills 35 laps down and John Cooper 36 laps down. We lost those guys very, very early on. Kai Dalziel wins in Pro-Am ahead of Errol Yuriksoy and Jeremy Littleton. Then it's Gary Brown in 4th place, only 10 seconds back. Dean Timms is 5th ahead of Eric Kulaga, and then nearly half a minute behind them, Eric Kulaga and Michael Kulaga. And then we have Jeff Carollo 1 lap down, Andrew Rasmussen 7 laps down, Logan Vida, after that big off, did not finish the race. In the AM class, Justin Delano takes a victory of 2.7 seconds ahead of Stephen Martinez. Daniel Florea finishes next up, not even 6 seconds off the race winner. Michael Fowler finishes 4th, and then the drivers 1 lap down with Drew Neubauer and Matthew Plaisance. And then Jason Bridges and John Casey, both 2 laps down, but still both finishing the race. So Jonathan Ouellette had a hell of a fight going on in that one. We'll have to just see who we can grab a quick chat with. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look like I can move anybody into the broadcast booth. We had this issue earlier on, you know, with Discord. Not a single clue as to why. Intriguing. Very intriguing. I'm hoping that I can get that sorted and we can get some drivers in for interviews, but yeah, it seems very, very strange that we, at this point, cannot. Just bear with me 1 second, everybody. And we'll have a look and see whether we can get this fixed. I'm just going to quickly message one of the admins of the server in which we are using to be able to do this. We should be able to get somebody in a minute. But what a great race at Monza. You know, plenty of slipstreaming, plenty of strategy involved. Drivers just had to think on their feet a lot there. Some of them were saving fuel and sitting behind the cars in front. Others just wanted to go for the move and wanted to crack on with it straight away. And I'm afraid it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to sort these interviews out. I cannot move people around in the Discord server, unfortunately. So I'm going to wrap it up there, because it's nearly 2 AM still here in the UK anyway. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. It's been a hell of a lot of fun to bring you tonight's broadcast of the Race Anywhere World Series. It's been a brilliant, brilliant win for Jonathan Ouellette. Kai Dalziel wins the Pro-Ams. Justin Delano wins the AM class. We will see you in a week's time for the series finale at Le Mans. It's going to be an absolute barnstormer. Plenty more slipstreaming coming your way. As for now, everybody, have a fantastic evening. It's been great to see you all once again. My name is Chaz Draycott. Thank you for joining me here on Absolute Sim Racing, and I will see you soon. Good night.